fail.
I'm filled with a profound sense of gratitude and humility. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your president and commander-in-chief for the past 6 years. Together, in 2018, we embarked on a journey to build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Liberia. And I am deeply thankful for the trust and support you have bestowed upon me and my administration during my tenure. As we navigate the complexity of governance, your partnership was instrumental in the development and implementation of policies and programs that aim to bring progress and development to our great nation. Reflecting on the accomplishment of these 6 years, let me tell you that I am proud of what we have achieved together. We have built roads, supported free wires and free tuition at high schools and public universities, stabilized the macroeconomic challenges we face in 2018, built hundreds of pro-poor housing units, and achieved on so many fronts that we are able to this year to strive on observing the tenets of democracy and adhering to the rule of law. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless the Republic of Liberia.
Those who wrote the speech, in inauguration day, everybody happy. We are rejoicing over the defeat of the old regime. We are rejoicing about our effort to bring a new regime. Then we'll sit down with happiness. We go write paper for that 79-year-old man. He's talking to me. Then before that, I will tell you that nation. I will tell you US, I will bring one for you. But you think one for I will translate. I will tell you what I'm really when you come to play.
When you elect a clown and you think that he will be a king, what he does is to convert the kingdom into a circus. This is what we must deal with, and this is what we must say. Who do we elect into our public offices? Because, as I've said before, when you allow hyenas to take care of goats, why should you be surprised when the goats are eaten? This is the same. And Africa is only going to realize our potential in all areas when, by dint of choice, we enable and allow our best men and women to serve in different areas. I've heard it being said about Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. I've heard it being suggested about Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia. I've heard it being said about Japan. I've heard it being said about other countries. But there was a conscious decision on the part of those individuals and the followers. We always talk about leaders, but we never talk about the followers. The followers must also style up. Africans on average are for some reason attracted to thieves. Africans are for some reason attracted to men and women who cannot serve her. And when they are not served, then they complain. When Africans are told, choose you now whom we shall release, Jesus of Nazareth or Barabbas, they say release Barabbas. And when Barabbas behaves like Barabbas, they say, why are you not behaving like Christ? It cannot be done.
In May of 2001, signed a second of two executive orders, number 13213, Defense Exhibit D310, in which it was stated, and I quote, the government of Liberia's complicity in the RUF's illicit trade in diamonds and its other forms of support for the RUF are direct challenges to the United States foreign policy objectives in the region, as well as the rule-based international order that is critical to the peace and prosperity of the United States. Therefore, I find these actions by the government of Liberia contribute to the unusual and extraordinary threat to the foreign policy of the United States described in Executive Order 13194, with respect to which the President declared a national emergency. This executive order did not say the alleged complicity, it concluded the complicity. The conspiracy was born, all systems put into motion, and here I stand today. I never stood a chance. This is the broader contextual matrix that regrettably did not and still has not seen the light of day in these proceedings, despite the gallant efforts by the defense, to unearth and reveal the contextual framework behind the charges against me. Now, with the two executive orders, the dogs were let out, so to speak. What followed was a dispatch of the attack pack led by Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, Defense Intelligence 30 years prosecutor. He, Crane, unlawfully unsealed the court's sealed indictment to his handlers, senior U.S. government officials at the U.S. Embassy in Freetown, and was never held to account. The rest of the operational team are Colonel Brendan Hollis, Defense Intelligence, CIA, U.S. Air Force, Senior Trial Counsel, and now prosecutor. James C. Johnson, U.S. Army expert, 20 years on conventional and special operations. Chief of Prosecutions, the Syrian nation was spared from threats and intimidation as explained by Femi Kayode, Press Secretary to President Obasanjo, the Nigerian head of state, who was with him in Washington when President George W. Bush promised, and I quote, to bring Nigeria to its knees if Taylor was not turned over to the special court. And what happened? Obasanjo buckled and capitulated. Now, this demonstrates the significant pressure that was brought to bear on President Obasanjo, irrespective of his personal and leadership obligations to the West African sub-region. And therein lies the dilemma for current African heads of state and government, but how to enter into binding commitments and obligations with the African pairs. Not even the Nigerian nation was spared from threats and intimidation as explained by Femi Kayode, Press Secretary to President Obasanjo, the Nigerian head of state, who was with him in Washington when President George W. Bush promised, and I quote, to bring Nigeria to its knees if Taylor was not turned over to the special court. What happened? Obasanjo buckled and capitulated. Now, this demonstrates the significant pressure that was brought to bear on President Obasanjo, irrespective of his personal and leadership obligations to the West African sub-region. And therein lies the dilemma for current African heads of state and government of how to enter into binding commitments and obligations with the African pairs and remain steadfast, resolute, and unyielding in their fidelity to those agreements in the face of such unrelenting and punishing pressure from powerful Western leaders.
Freedom, hard dog, Viral Bar, first of Liberia. Freedom, hard dog, Viral Bar, first of Liberia.
My people, where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop slipping. Whip your hands, come on. I know y'all sleeping now, y'all gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people who us, the people last us, the government betray us, so much time. I said, the people who us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promise.
Thank you so much.
Let us do it.
It's good to be back tonight on the Tuesday in the Republic of Liberia, a country where Liberian citizens continue to raise their hopes way up beyond the Wodogisi mountain, waiting for a government headed by Mr. Braka that will give them hope, or the hope that they voted for, the change that they sacrificed to achieve, to see it come true. Now they seems to be complaining and disappointed that 3 years running, the change cannot be seen. No semblance of change. Some in the major opposition political parties also seem to be living in disappointment, complaining that the opposition is not setting the stage that they are supposed to stand on to engage the Unity Party government. What is happening in our country? Opposition supporters seem disappointed. The ruling party supporters seem disappointed. They cannot get the jobs that they were assured to promise. They cannot get the quality education that they voted for. They cannot get the improved health care that they voted for. The education system remains a mess. Our infrastructure is way behind the St. Paul River. What is happening in our country? Both sides seem to be sharing portion of the political disappointment. Whatever the case is, let me say a very, very pleasant good evening to all of you across the country. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you in the diaspora, our friends, our fans, our followers, our critics, and even those of you who do not like the things we say and the way we say them. It's good to have all of you joining us tonight on the February 17th edition of Freedom Hard Talk. A lot to talk about tonight. Obviously, we have the Drug Enforcement Agency, or the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, on our menu for tonight. We are looking deeply into the Bonanjala case. Therefore, we post that residents spotted him in the FE community on last weekend. We received calls from some residents. We received audio recordings. We are going to play some of the audio recordings tonight. We received from some of the FE residents that they saw him and he was already pulled into his vehicle by security guarding him. And he fled away. There are some who say he had not been released. But the night of the incident, when the 15-year-old kid was raped, those who rescued him from the wayside did a series of video recordings. We have all of those recordings with us tonight, and we are going to play them on the show tonight. First-hand information. I mean, those who rescued the kid from the wayside, the sidewalk, and took him to his house, to his mother. You hear all of the conversations, including those who rescued him, and the voices of his mother and his aunt. We have that recording. Tonight, we will play all of that. Because we have a strong message, not for the government, because the government is supporting Bonanjala, but we have a message for the society. We have a call for all Liberians to wake up. My name is Austin Kawa. This show is proudly sponsored by Camp Stepper Liberia of OMSM Science. My colleague Junkins Morris is here. Together we are going to drive you straight up to 10 o'clock. But before that break, a lot of things happening. Let's take a walk from our sponsor, Camp Stepper Liberia.
Yo, hello. I want to talk about violence. More violence is indiscriminate. It can happen for any reason and to anyone. Until we do something to stop the surge of vigilante-style justice in this country, none of us will be safe. My Liberia is Liberia of hope. In my Liberia, it is possible. Violence is not part of my Liberia. Violence leads to property damage, injury, or even death, as we are seeing in recent months in several parts of Liberia, including Monrovia. Talk to people in your community about violence. Stand up against mob justice. Be a community hero. Liberia is all that we have. We must all unite to uphold the rule of law. This is Old Man Sam Sion, your community crime fighting partner. Thanks for listening. This is Old Man Sam Sion.
Thank you very much, Old Man Sam Sion, Constable Liberia. Those of you joining us tonight on the show, let's welcome some of you, beginning with Felicia's Junior Bar, Ojuku Davis, Gospel, Henry To, Maliu Fofana, Hilton Wulejido, Josh Watkins Jr. are all joining us tonight. Anna Kekula has joined us. Emmanuel Bro, Roland To. All of you, welcome to Freedom Hard Talk. Ibrahim Swain, Augustine Talley, Stephen Fala Jr., Evelyn Deconti T. Welcome to the show tonight. Perry Slobert, Rufus Nevens, Limu Pikin, Perry Slobert, Favor Morris, Saturday Zonwi Wondule. All of you joining us tonight. Esther G Place. All of you joining us. S. Atinei Johnson. Flexible General. Wow. It's been a while. But anyway, it's good to have you joining us tonight. Augustine T. Musa, Jerry Lee Morba, Alice Koliu, Fali Kora are all joining us tonight. It's good to have all of you joining us tonight. And Fali is joining us from Banjul in the Gambia. Junkins Morris, welcome to the show.
Yeah, greetings, Austin. Greetings to our people following us here in Liberia, in the diaspora, and wherever you are.
Are you a fanatic of Buffer Chimos?
Why do you ask such question?
Because you sound like him, you talk like him, or you, yeah. So that's what I'm asking.
He's my Allah.
He's your Allah. Okay, but welcome to the show.
Thank you, Austin. I was.
But I know he's your Allah, but I think you're Junkins Morris and he's Buffer Chimos.
I'm Junkins.
Thank you. So we need a Junkins Morris voice. Then the Buffer Chimos voice.
Okay, Austin. I'm Junkies Morris. And this is How Talk on Freedom FM 87.9. On our plate today, like Austin said, we got the DEA boss, Biago, to be discussed. Babu Jara, and other issues to be discussed. Because this issue that has to do with a young man that was being raped is of serious national concern, because we are looking at precedents, especially that some actions have been taken in other cases. We think these things will have to be taken seriously. So, yeah, there are a lot on our plate tonight. And Austin, I think we can flow.
Okay. So, how was the day? What did you follow today? What did you see? How did the country end today? Gavin said we have an 18-hour economy now.
Yeah, basically, I was at the Capitol. What I really noticed that was concerning, more than 7 times, because I was, counting, more than 7 times. The speaker.
I think you low.
I
think you low. Go ahead.
More than 7 times. More than 7 times, the speaker asked the chief clerk to announced, because there are speakers mounted all in the buildings. Let's say all in the two sides of the buildings, the Senate and the House of Representatives. So they were calling lawmakers to come for session. Yes. If you are a lawmaker and you are in the confines of the Capitol building,
please come to work.
Mandate from the speaker request that you kindly appear in session so that session can start.
But you were there when session started?
Basically, I was session did not start and I left. So
that was around when
12 going to 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So they were still trying to call, their other colleagues to attend session. I think